Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. The Pakistan cricket team is now on its way to Australia. The team departed from Lahore after completing their last phase of training at the National High Performance Centre, and of course it's a three-test match series to look forward to. We're going to be seeing Shan Masood leading the Pakistan test side for the very first time. A couple of these names are there as well. There is a fairly new management in the team as well. So we'll talk about Pakistan's chances against Australia. Three test matches, of course, the first one in Perth, where a drop-in pitch is being prepared for this test match. So we'll talk all about it, and I think in detail analyze what could be Pakistan's chances. The Pakistani skipper Shan Masood also had a pre-departure press conference where he also mentioned a couple of combinations. Looks like Pakistan is going with the similar combination of Imamul Haq and Abdullah Shafiq up front. So we'll discuss all about this in detail. Then of course we move on and discuss the Pakistan women's team that is in New Zealand for their series as well. They had a good side game. That was interesting to see that they found some form as well. And we've got to talk about the series because it includes T20s and one-day internationals. And of course, New Zealand 11 beat Pakistan team by 28 runs. Initially, they had a good outing in the first match as well. But then again, acclimatizing to the conditions is something that you always take on. Then, of course, we move on and we discuss a couple of details from Pakistan Super League as well, where the HBL PSL draft is all set to take place on the 13th of December. A lot of these rumors will now be making headlines, although there have been certain player trades as well. And I also have some reports of players going to certain sides as well. Like I said, unconfirmed, but I'll still give you the insights into this drafting as well. So we'll discuss all about this in detail on the show. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by a cricket commentator and a cricket expert, Kashif Shabir. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam, all well, thank you.
We've also been joined by sports expert Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum, Ali, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm very well.
And we also have been joined by senior cricket expert and cricket commentator, Leena Moin Aziz. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, Ahmed, and hello to everyone in the studios.
Well, great to have you with us, Leena. What would you like to add now? Like I said, that it's a new assignment for a lot of these players, and although that a tour in Australia is never easy, but I see a lot of confidence that the side is carrying, and I think for once now, I'm glad that we can focus just on cricket and not worry about the side things that have been happening in the PCB.
Yeah, well, as we all know that the Australian tour, Ahmed, is never easy. It is a very difficult terrain and hasn't been easy for Pakistan. But we also know that there have been sides that have won in Australia, like India. So we can pick up their template and see how much of their template we can pick up. And if we have the sort of players to sort of adjust to that kind of template. One good thing is that Shan Masood is seem pretty confident. He has a good plan, simple plan. But it is never easy in Australia. Like I said, there's pace and bounce. The conditions are not easy. We are playing on one of the fastest pitches in Australia. So we'll have to see which kind of players do we play. We have to assess conditions. We have to then decide on an 11. It can't be a preconceived notion, you see. You have to look at the conditions, the pitch, and then decide. The batting pretty much looks set, the top five. Himself, Shan he's batting at number 3, which is a pivotal position, and with an average of 28, I am sure there is some pressure on him for as far as personal form is concerned, because you have to lead by example, leading from the front. And what is leading from the front? You have to perform with the bat. He'll have to perform with the bat himself. And then there's the bowling. Of course, Naseem Shah is missing. There's some inexperience in the fast bowling, and then we don't have a quality spinner. But I do feel we can use Numan just the way was used by the Indian captains. So there is a chance of performing well, but there is a lot of there is a big gap between the cup of tea and the lip. So we'll have to assess all those such things when we land in Australia, assess the conditions, and I hope we do have the kind of players to perform well in Australia. I mean, by saying that, I do hope, I know we have the players, but I hope the proper role definition can be given to them and they can play the role to the hilt.
Well, Leena, what about the concept of this drop-in pitch that has been put in place in this very first test match at Perth?
Well, Australia, we all know that drop-in pitches are part and parcel in Australia. We have before also seen drop-in pitches in Australia. We don't have to worry about drop-in pitches. As it is, the conditions are difficult in Australia. There is a lot of steep bounce and pace. So, the drop-in pitch wouldn't make a difference. The reason they have the drop-in pitches is that off-season they have rugby matches in those grounds, and then they prepare that pitch elsewhere. And just when the cricket season is about to start, they sort of plonk that pitch in that hole, and then that pitch is what we see when the match starts. So there is nothing different about that pitch. There is going to be pace and bounce on the pitch. We'll have to adjust to those things while batting and bowling. The lengths, bowlers will have to adjust to a different length in Australia. Slightly back of length is the right length in Australia. Not too short, not too full, just slightly back of length. So those are the kind of things batsmen and bowlers would have to adjust.
Definitely. Kashif, first of all, the team's confidence is looking pretty good. Even the captain in his pre-departure press conference mentioned a couple of things that portrayed a lot of confidence into the side. How do you see this entire scenario for Pakistan? Of course, I think the good thing is that they've got a side game before the series starts as well.
Exactly, and I think the most important part is the confidence of the captain, and he seems to be very confident. Secondly, the gelling of the team is very good. He is still relying on the senior players, Rizwan and Babar, and he is saying that he will be consulting them in the match as well. So that is again a good sign. And another important point is the openers, because Shan Masood has clearly mentioned that Abdullah Shafiq and Imam-ul-Haq, in the past they have performed well for Pakistan, so they'll continue performing in the same position. So this is a very positive sign. So there won't be a tug of war between the positions as far as the captain and the openers are concerned. So in my opinion, I think for Shan Masood, the best option for him is to play at number 3, because in the past we have seen that in the last series when Shan Masood was playing in Australia, he could not score even a single run in 3 or 4 matches. So that is a very difficult sign for Shan Masood if he opens the batting for Pakistan. So continuing with Shan Masood, it is going to be Babar, Rizwan, and the other players available. Exactly. So I think the batting side will not be a major concern for Pakistan. The major concern for Pakistan is the bowlings, and that too is the spinning department. Whether the bowlers or the spinners are confident enough and they are capable enough to bowl in Australia side, that is a big question mark for Pakistan. Now we have to see what is going to be the combination, the pace bowling combination, who is going to accompany Shaheen Shah Afridi. Will it be Hassan Ali, Hamza, or Khurram Shehzad? Who will be the second partner for Shaheen Shah Afridi? That is very important, because we all know that Shaheen Shah Afridi is not 100% fit, because he is bowling at a pace of around 130, ranging to around 134, 135. He is not surpassing 140, which is a major concern for Pakistan, because we know that Shaheen Shah Afridi can use the new ball very well, and that is very important for Pakistan, because that is where he has to take wickets. But unfortunately, for past 1 or 2 years, he is not taking wickets at that very instance. So that is a major concern for Pakistan. So I think this is the first time that the batting is more confident as compared to the bowling. But we still have to see the conditions of Australia, because in Australia the ball is going to seam, it is going to swing, it is going to support the pace bowlers. So we have to see how these pace bowlers, they perform well in Australia, because if we manage to take the early wickets, I'm sure the batters can exert the required pressure which is required for Australia.
Certainly. Ali Mehdi, the fact is going to be plain and simple. Your bowlers will be put to the test, and so would your batters be. But I don't know why my mind tells me that, Shan Masood has got to play a similar role to what Alistair Cook was playing for England when he was captaining the side there. I know leagues apart, but then again, you want one of your skippers, whoever it is, to actually, if he's a batter particularly, to give that grit and determination in between that lifts the side up as well.
Well, I hope this Shan Masood can actually replicate the form of Alistair Cook when he went and won the Ashes for England for the first time in about 30-35 years and scored about 700 runs. Look, it's going to be a very challenging series, but if there's anybody who can actually leave a mark, it's Shan Masood. And that is because he's a peacemaker. He's the sort of player who is going to amalgam the whole team together. He's not a very confrontational player too. And then at the same time too, he's going to be the sort of captain, I think, who's going to be a bit of a diplomat. He's going to take everybody's point into perspective, and then at the same time what he's going to do is that there's going to be peace and harmony within the team. So I think that's going to make a big difference. So I think Shan Masood, yes, there is pressure, but he'll be able to handle it well. I think the most important part which we yet to discuss is that fifth bowling option. I think the time has come, and the time has come now to give Amir Jamal a debut, because we are playing at Perth, we are playing at Optus Stadium. You just mentioned, Ahmed, that it's going to be a drop-in pitch, and what drop-in pitch? It's going to be a very similar pitch to the traditional wickets which we saw at the WACA, which had fast pace, bounce, and used to be really difficult to bat on. So and it's going to be there's going to be very high bounce. So I think this is the best moment to get, to breed and to give new blood. And I think Amir Jamal has to play. Unfortunately, I think Salman Ali Agha will have to actually sit on the side, because I just don't see a position for him, because it's at Perth. So I think other than that, it's going to be interesting. The other bowling option, I think Abrar should definitely get an opportunity. You need at least one spinner. But other than that, the three fast bowlers, and then I think also what's very important is that Amir Jamal must get an opportunity. He's been performing well in domestic too, and on this sort of a wicket, you have to have an equivalent of the likes of Cameron Green. So there's nobody I see better than Amir Jamal at this time.
Well, this is, I think, a tour where probably Pakistan should be making a couple of adjustments for the near future as well. But then, it all comes down to the fact that how well do we handle new debutants as well in the team. So, Leena, this particular point that Ali Mehdi mentions, that, our choices are going to be very important in this series.
Yeah, I mean, excellent point. Ali makes a very good point when he says that we should pay Amir Jamal. But then it involves the mentality of the captain, whether he's the sort of captain who is aggressive enough to go with Amir, because Amir probably doesn't have the same kind of batting capability that probably Fahim Ashraf has. Fahim slightly better when it comes to batting, and especially test matches, we will have more time. Or whether he's the sort of captain who will go for that aggressive approach of taking 20 wickets. That is a very important point for me. So, that we will have to, like they say, a time will tell, and we'll have to wait and watch. So the first test itself will reveal the kind of thinking Shan Masood has. And also an excellent point by Ali, that, they will have to, and I've been saying that a long time, that they will have to involve a spinner. When I say the Indian template, I mean two things: courage and bravery that the Indians had to fight fire with fire and win in Australia back-to-back 2 series, and also the strategy. The strategy of using Ashwin. I remember in one of the test series they used Ashwin with a new ball, and he was very effective. And then also at later points when he would come and break a partnership. So we don't have that kind of quality. We don't have enough Ashwin. We have Numan and Abrar. So it will have to be seen whether he uses Abrar or the leggy, or the more seasoned left arm spinner. So these things will, we will understand what kind of captain Shan is once that first test match starts and a couple of days pass on in the first test match.
Well, that really, Shan Masood, even in his press conference, I think gave nothing away, because the only confirmation we could get was that Imam and Abdullah are going to be opening Kashif. Even at the question of Sarfaraz and Rizwan, he said that Sarfaraz is going to be useful because of his experience, but Rizwan has the better record as a batter in Australia. So that is something that we're still stuck of identifying what the playing 11 is going to be.
Exactly, because it is going to be very tricky for Shan Masood to select the playing 11. And Leena correctly said that for the first match is going to, tell us everything about the tour, what the tour is going to be about, and what is the approach of the captain, whether he is an aggressive captain or a defensive captain. That is yet to be seen. But in the past, we have seen that when an opportunity was given to Sarfaraz, he performed very well, and he was in fact the man of the series when he was playing against New Zealand. So I don't think that Sarfaraz will be sitting on the bench, and Rizwan might not be given an opportunity in the first test match. This is what my thinking is. And secondly, talking about Abrar, I think Abrar is the main person for Pakistan in this tour, because he is not only the spinner, he is the tricky man. So he need to be used by Shan Masood, and used very carefully. Remember against England in the first match, we used him too much. That is the reason why he was not so useful, so effective in the other test matches. So we have to be very careful while using the spinners and the bowlers. Exactly, this is where the captaincy role comes into play. We have to see how clever Shan Masood is, because in Australia it is all about cleverness, because I'm sure the pitches of Australia will be helpful for both the batters and for the bowlers. We have to see how the captain utilizes all the players. Secondly, I am of the opinion that we need to have 5 regular batsmen and 5 regular bowlers, and one all-rounder can do the job for Pakistan. So it is going to be a proper team for Pakistan. Only then we can compete against Australia. Remember, we have to take 20 wickets. We cannot totally rely on defending the total, rely totally on the batsman. We'll have to play aggressive cricket against Australia, because if you play aggressive, you can exert that required pressure on the Australian team. But if you are defensive, then it is going to be very difficult, because they're going to come very hard on you. So it is all about mental game. What is the mental setup of Shan Masood, and what is his game plan?
Well, Mehdi, Australia is like the apex predator. If it senses you going down, they're going to choke you. They're not going to give you an opportunity to get back up in the test match.
And that's why I think that Lena's pinpoint perfect when she said that we have to go by the Indian template. Look, Ahmed, it's no fluke that India won 2 series over there in 2018 and in 2021. I mean, to go and to win at the Gabba is the fortress where they did not lose for about 30 years. So it speaks volumes that they didn't only play aggressive, they played very smart cricket, they played very strategic cricket. And the most important thing is that they picked sessions by sessions. I remember there was this one test match, if I'm not mistaken, it was at Sydney, and they were, in big trouble, but their rear guard really stood up, and the likes of Ashwin actually stood up. Siraj also, I believe it was Thakur who did very well. So the thing with Australia is that you have to be extremely mentally strong. And then at the same time, what's very important is that they are going to the media, the fans. It's going to be a real cauldron over there, and it's going to be like over there it's going to be a real predator, like you mentioned. So it's very important that we strategically go by it. Really don't panic under pressure too, and at the same time, Shan Masood has to think about which bowlers he use, and the thing is that if we want to win the series, our batsmen really need to step up. You talk about Babar Azam. This is a store of redemption for him. He scored 100 last year when last time he went there at the Gabba. He needs to do it again. He needs to be a top scorer, Shan Masood. But I think also very important, the middle order I think will do his job. But that top order, the likes of Imam and Abdullah Shafiq really need to fight. If they can set the platform, I genuinely believe the middle order will really perform well, and the bowlers will get confidence. So if the batting can perform, I think automatically that will translate into the bowling too. So it's very important that what the team management decides, and also how Shan Masood uses his bowlers and the fielders in all 3 tests.
Certainly, Elena, now because the fact Australia likes to play attacking cricket and they play with a positive mindset also gives our bowlers the opportunity to pick up a couple of wickets even early on as well. And then they need to capitalize and not let the tail wag as we've done in the past on multiple occasions.
Yeah, well, of course, like Ali was saying that in Australia everything is important, and when I was talking about the Indian was talking about fighting fire with fire, he spoke about Shardul Thakur. I think there was Washington Sundar and Pant also who contributed there with a lot of aggression. And when you talk about the tail, the bowlers will have to contribute with the wickets, taking wickets, being aggressive. The catches, the slip catches, and will have to be taken. And another thing that's very important in Australia, because there is pace and bounce, the short ball tactic will have to be adopted every now and again. Like we saw in the past, we saw many captains in Australia doing that successfully, and not just in Australia, but in the recent Ashes, we saw Stokes doing it to Australians and Cummins doing it to England. So that tactic is also very important. But when you talk about the tail wagging, yes, the tail needs to contribute in Australia. Those 40, 50, 60 runs or 80 runs coming from the tail are extremely important. So you got to get the other side's tail out cheaply, and your tail has to wag. So all these factors in amalgamation contribute towards a win, and that's what I saw happening with India, those 2 series, and that's why I keep saying their template. I don't like to say too much, but I have to.
Well, for me, I think it's plain and simple. You play your trump cards up front. You don't wait for the opportunity, but you go out there and especially take your catches. Something that you cannot afford in Australia is to drop catches, especially in that slip cordon. But I like the fact that some of these individuals are hungry for runs, and Kashif, they include the former skipper Babar Azam.
Exactly, and now Babar Azam will be playing pressure free, because we all know that he had the pressure of captaincy. So now there is no captaincy pressure. He has to perform, and he has to perform like a real lion, because we all know that the batting order or the batting of Pakistan is going to revolve around Babar Azam, because a lot of expectation is there from Babar Azam. We all know that he's a quality player. But not only Babar Azam, I have a lot of confidence in Saud Shakil, Mohammad Rizwan, and for that matter, Shan Masood as well, because he has been performing very well in the county season. He has been the captain of one of the counties as well. So he has that experience as well. He's going to bring that experience into play. So everything is going to revolve around the batters, because I strongly believe that for this tour, Pakistan's batting is the trump card, because if our batters, they perform well, they are going to give that confidence to the bowling side, because the bowling side is inexperienced for Pakistan, and we do not have the required pace which is required in Australia, because we will be missing the pace of Shaheen Shah Afridi. Amir Jamal is a very good addition for Pakistan. I think he is more of a bowler rather than a batsman. So if he can be included in the side instead of Hassan Ali maybe, or for that matter, Mir Hamza maybe. So if he can be added in the side, that is going to be a very good plus for Pakistan. But we are forgetting Mir Hamza, because we have seen in the domestic circuit that Mir Hamza has the capability, the ability to reverse the ball, and he can well utilize the new ball as well. So he can be a very good companion for Shaheen Shah Afridi. He can give that support to Shaheen Shah Afridi which is required. But all in all, I think it is going to be a team effort in Australia. Everybody has to put in their best effort. Everybody sitting on the bench, they will also have to put in their effort. They will have to give that, the confidence to the players, so that everybody can perform well, because this is going to be a very difficult tour for Pakistan. But there is one more important thing, Ahmed, because we all know that this is a difficult tour. We are not expecting Pakistan to win 3-0 or 2-0 or maybe 1-0. If they manage to draw this series, that is also going to be a win for Pakistan. So I think if you take it from that aspect, Pakistan is going to be playing tensionless, tension-free in this tour. The only pressure, if the Pakistan can exert on Australia, if they can, I think that is going to be very plus for Pakistan.
And every now and then, I think you don't mind anything which is, unconventional. Maybe, if you're playing Abrar, go up front, try him against David Warner, do something out of the ordinary.
Maybe yes, but opening the bowling from with Abrar is going to be very tricky and a very difficult question for Shan Masood, because we all know that Shaheen Shah Afridi and Mir Hamza, they can utilize the new ball very well. So I think we can go traditionally.
Absolutely. We're going to come back to that right after this short break. Stay tuned. And welcome back to Sports Extra, and now it's time to look at some interesting things going around the Pakistan Super League. 13th of December, the PSL draft for the new season takes place. We've got a report. Let's take a look.
The HBL Pakistan Super League Players Draft will be held on Wednesday, 13 December at National Cricket Academy, Lahore. Currently, the possible date of Pakistan Super League is 8th February to 24th March 2024. The picking order for the Players Draft has been finalized this month, according to which Quetta Gladiators is to pick the first player in the draft. For Platinum category, the selection order of the first round will be according to the standings of the first team from the last team of the previous season. The process of retaining local players in the Pakistan Super League has been completed on November 10, while the registration of foreign cricketers started on October 25, in which many top players have shown interest. Besides, Hassan Ali has joined the Karachi Kings from Islamabad United, while Imad Wasim has joined Islamabad United.
Well, there you have it. The talk of the town is Imad and Hassan Ali's trade, but then again, there are also certain rumors surrounding other players as well. Lina, a new edition of the PSL, the draft takes place on the 13th, but this particular move of Imad to Islamabad and Hassan to Karachi, how do you see that?
always alien at Karachi. But then, you know, he was there for a long time. He won them a championship. And then I thought, okay, he's going to stay here. I did always in my heart thought maybe he should come to Islamabad. And now he has. Also, there is another thing that I'd like to add, and people might hate me for this, is that if he's come back to Islamabad, I would want him to be the captain because he's captained in Karachi. He's done well. He's won a tournament for them. And Shadab hasn't done well as a captain. I mean, he's been close to winning tournaments, but he hasn't done well. And also, I saw an audition of him as a captain against Afghanistan in Sharjah. I was there, so I went to see all the matches. He didn't give a good audition as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, I feel that if Imad has come back, he should also be the captain. That's not going to happen, but that's my feeling. Hassan Ali can go anywhere, that's fine.
That's an interesting comment, but Kashif, this is certainly a major move, and then of course the other one is Riley Rousseau and Iftikhar Ahmed, who have also traded places as well.
Yes, I think it is going to be a very good move for Imad Wasim because we all know that Imad Wasim has already given his resignation or retirement from the international cricket. So he will be focusing on the leagues. And as far as the captaincy of Imad Wasim is concerned, I am totally with Lina because I think he is a better captain when it comes to a comparison between Shadab and Imad Wasim. But I doubt it because Shadab has been a permanent member of Islamabad United, and he will stay there for I don't know for how much time. So talking about Hassan Ali, I think it is going to be good inclusion in the Karachi Kings because Karachi Kings lacked a pace bowler attack, and he is going to be a good partner with Mohammad Amir. So that is going to be a good addition for Karachi Kings. But let's see who is going to be the captain of Karachi Kings. Will it be Shoaib Malik or any other player? That is still we.
Well,
have
there are
to see.
rumors that Shad Masood might end up in Karachi being the skipper.
What
but
about
you never
Multan
know.
Sultans?
Well, that is something that Multan is not ready to let him go yet, but there are knocks on the door every now and then. But Ali Mehdi, regarding all of this, your final thoughts, and also the fact that so far what news is telling us is that Naseem Shah is heading to Multan as well.
Well, I thought Naseem Shah was actually headed to Islamabad a few days ago. There was very strong rumors. But look, regarding this, I think this is the first time that actively a lot of trades are starting well before the draft too. So this is good that there's a lot of activity in this window before the draft too. But it shows that this is going to be the biggest PSL yet. Big changes. I think Imad Wasim leaving, the team which has actually since the team he was part of since inception is a big move for him. I think Islamabad United have gone from strength to strength to get Imad Wasim. His experience is going to mean a lot of, is going to be a huge difference for them. And then at the same time, this deal between Riley Rousseau going back to the team he actually started off with, I think it's good for him. And then obviously Iftikhar will be well settled into the Multan Sultan. So good trade activity happening between all these PSL
Well,
teams.
certainly. Ali Mehdi, Kashif Shabir and Lina Moin Aziz, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. That of course wraps it up from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.